collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at Armored Cyber Changers Optimus Prime from the Transformers Cyberworld line from Hasbro. So this is the second wave, and we're already getting a second version of Optimus Prime. There's also a second version of Bumblebee in this wave. I really hope there's not a version of Optimus Prime in every wave. And this one's a little strange to me. So you can see here on the artwork, he does not have like the face mask. So maybe this is more like a younger Optimus Prime, or maybe like more of an Orion Pax. Even if they had just called this Orion Pax, it would at least be a little something different, but they want that name recognition. So some pretty neat artwork here on the side of the robot mode. And then you have the vehicle mode down here. This is more of like a Hummer or an SUV or something like that. It's not like a truck like he's usually, transforms into, but it's an interesting one. We have a weapon down here, so because it's an armored cyber changer, he does come with an accessory. Same kind of artwork over here on the side. It says armored cyber changer. Picture of the vehicle mode just wrapping around there on the side. And then over here on the back, you can see that we have a product shot of the robot mode and the vehicle mode, and it looks like there's like the Gatling guns can split apart and there's wings going on. I'm not quite sure, but you can see the other figures that are available. We've taken a look at these two already, and here's that other version of Bumblebee that I was talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and get this guy out of the box here, and we'll take a closer look. So here is this new Optimus Prime out of the packaging. I will say he looks pretty good in terms of the paint applications. I really like all of this silver here for the grille, and then you have the yellow headlights as well. Some nice blue paint for the forearms and the hands. Some nice silver here for these like exhaust pipe smokestacks. The head sculpt's a little weird. I don't know. There's just something about it that seems a little off. I mean, it's nicely painted, the light blue for the eyes and the silver there for the face, but just something about like the mouth. It just kind of makes him seem older or something. I don't know. I wish this just had the face mask like we usually have, and I don't know what's going on with that. Just to do a quick comparison with our first version of Optimus, I really love the head sculpt on that one. And again, I don't mind the rest of the head sculpt. I think if he just had the face, I mean, honestly, it almost looks like a Bayverse kind of movie face. Like, it really does just look a little weird to me. But this has just kind of a lighter color palette. You can see the red and the blue is definitely a lot lighter than the red and the blue going on over here. So yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I don't know why we're getting a second version. It's just kind of silly to me. But I think the whole abdomen is painted, I feel like. Is that... Yeah, I think this whole thing was molded in blue, and I think that was painted red. You can kind of see, let me see if you can see it a little bit on that side. Yeah, either way, the abdomen definitely looks like it's painted. So this has a lot of paint applications, I have to say. I will give them that. I like the Autobot symbol over here as well. Glad they did it in white since it would be on red. I think that was nice. Then you have gray plastic here for the thighs, and then you have blue plastic here for the legs. A little bit of red paint back here. Articulation-wise, pretty much what we're used to. You have the ball joint for the shoulder there. Nothing in the rest of the arm. It's a little hollow inside, not terrible. You have a ball joint for the hip, so you can kick pretty decently out to the side, pretty decently forward. You'll hit into the back assembly there if you try to go back. And then you have 90-degree knee bend. Again, pretty standard articulation for this line. But he does come with an accessory. So he has this large piece. I'm not really quite sure what's going on here, but you have these two wing pieces here. Now these are done in blue plastic, as you'll see by the peg, but then they're painted a really nice silver, which looks really good. They peg into the side there. And then you have these two halves of the Gatling gun, and what you're supposed to do is grab a hold of this piece and pull it back, and that will cause these to flip up, and then the two Gatling pieces will combine to make the Gatling gun, which he can hold. If we hold out his arm here, he holds on to fairly easily. You really have to kind of get the arm all the way extended, otherwise this giant block is going to hit into the chest. But there you go. He's got a little Gatling gun. The other thing which you can do, which I think is actually a little bit cooler, pop this back down. And it's kind of weird because like when you push this back in, Like, these connect, and you kind of have to make sure that they unpeg so you don't, like, stress out that piece. But you can pop this on the back and act like a little jetpack. And then he's got little wings. Straighten this out, which isn't too bad. I kind of like the look of the wings. I wish you could kind of detach this and use it as like just a gun for him to hold, but that's where we're at. The only part that comes off is the wings, and if for some reason you wanted to like mount them on the forearms or something, I wish you could kind of put them on the back, but and that way you could still use the gun, but unfortunately not the case. So that is the accessory. It's okay. But let's go ahead, we'll get into this guy's transformation here. So he transforms very similarly to the ones we've been seeing in the last couple days, like Wheeljack, Bumblebee, all those kinds of guys. You just go ahead, straighten out the legs, peg them together, straighten the arms, and then you're just going to lift this piece up over the head, and that will cause this whole thing to slide forward. And then you just kind of push these in, and then this will peg into the back, and just kind of push this all in. Make sure this is lined up. That's pretty much it. So I don't know what vehicle you would call this. Like I said, it's kind of an SUV or like a... I don't even really know. I'm not 100% sure. I guess maybe almost a van of some kind. But it has the exhaust pipes and the smokestacks. I appreciate that these pieces on the arm match up with the tip piece here that's actually on the back assembly. That's nice. The painted windows look good. I appreciate that. The little bit of red stripe there is nice. You can go ahead and pop this thing here on the top. Whatever configuration you would like this to go in. Can just pop on top there. Now, the box tells you in the directions as well. Let me split this. You kind of have to start it. There we go. So they say to pop off the wings. And they tell you to put the wings on the side here. But honestly, this looks really strange to me. And the packaging, let me zoom out here, makes it look like the wings are further back. See how the peg is almost half uncovered? And it looks like these are almost back at the wheel well? That is definitely not where they're connecting here. Like, that would almost be like they're connecting like this. And I've tried to look, you know, if there's like, okay, I'm looking at like these little notches. Is there something else I can hook this onto? Because it really kind of looks like this is more back here. And I just don't see any way to connect it like that. It's just straight up. And I think that looks really stupid. So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if the packaging is just wrong or maybe originally it was different. I would almost like something like this. Like maybe you could put it back here. Like if I could peg it in here or something. Or maybe like something like that. Where it kind of felt a little bit more integrated into the boxy area in the back. But since it's just like really hangs off the side, I don't like the look of pegging it in there. I'd much rather just do this, I guess. I mean, not that this is much better, but I don't know. It's a decent accessory. It's maybe one of the better ones, but still not that great. And I don't know. I don't really know what vehicle this is supposed to be. It kind of just feels like a weird van with a smokestack, and I don't really know what's going on. I wanted to do a quick comparison as well with the first Optimus's vehicle mode. While I do kind of like the more completeness of this vehicle mode, like it's a solid vehicle, it doesn't have a bunch of weird gaps or anything. Like that was my one problem with this. You know, you have the empty back of the legs are facing up. This whole section feels very empty and open. You know, the front could have definitely used a little bit more paint. Like look at the front of these. And this has so much more paint. Like, could you imagine if that grill on the front there was painted silver, how much better that would look? Like, this one even got, like, these smokestacks and everything. I don't know why. I mean, yes, this is a $15 and this is a $10, but at the same time, this one's also coming with this accessory, which is why you would assume it's more expensive. So, I'm not sure why this one's getting so much more paint. It's just kind of a shame because I really like the robot mode for this one better, and I can't even really say I like the vehicle mode for this one better, but it's certainly more of a complete, closed up, solid, cohesive feeling vehicle mode. While this one, you know, you can see the hands and the fists. It really just feels like he kind of fell forward and started rolling, where at least this feels like it transformed. So I still really like the darker color scheme of this one. I like the head sculpt, and I like the robot mode better. But I think this is certainly a more convincing vehicle. Even though I'm not a fan of this vehicle, because I just think it's kind of weird, I think it's definitely more convincing. This kind of feels like a first draft, whereas this was like a little bit more refined. Even though there are definitely aspects of this one overall that I like better. I really don't know how I feel about this version of Optimus. There are definitely parts about it that I like. I love the paint applications. I think the chest looks great. I love the blue here on the forearms and the hand. You have that little bit of silver here for the exhaust. I appreciate that, you know, if they molded this whole thing out of blue, they painted the tummy red. I just really don't like the head sculpt. Just something about that facial expression I don't like. If they had just given him the faceplate like we're used to, I probably still wouldn't like it as much as I like the first version's face, but I would certainly like it more. Just, I don't know, this is a really weird face sculpt, and I just don't super care for it. Also, like, the vehicle mode, I don't really know what it's supposed to be, if it's like a van or a Hummer or an SUV or whatever. It just doesn't really feel like an Optimus-style vehicle, so there's that. And I also will say, I didn't really show this off, transformation to the vehicle is pretty simple, but transforming it back is really difficult. Like, I really have to push on it. It really kind of locks in. Eventually it pops open, but it's a little difficult to get back to robot mode, I will say. The accessory is decent. You know, I kind of like how you can put it on the back as a jetpack, and then you can kind of flip this up, and these two pieces come together to form the Gatling gun, which is kind of cool. But then when you're pushing it back, like, you can see how it wants to split, but it still wants to stay connected up here. So you kind of have to separate it, and then you can kind of push it the rest of the way. It's just a weird idea to have the barrel of a Gatling gun split in half. And I don't, like, I would much rather it just, like, retract and deploy instead of splitting in half. That seems really weird to me. But overall, it's a decent little accessory. It's not the best. I just kind of noticed that this almost looks like an Autobot symbol. Or a Cybertronian jockstrap. In any case, I don't know. Like I said, I'm on the fence with this one. I still think I prefer the other one, if I'm being honest. That head sculpt is perfect. I like the window chest here, the colors on this. I like the little bit darker color palette. I mean, not that the lighter color palette is bad. I do kind of like them both, but I think if I'm forced to choose, I think I do like the darker color palette. But I will say, even though I'm not really sure what this guy is supposed to turn into, it's definitely a more solid, cohesive vehicle mode. The vehicle mode for version 1 here is not the best, I have to be honest. So I definitely would have to probably give vehicle mode points to this guy, but robot mode points to the other one. So if they could somehow put them together, it would be the ultimate version. But I just don't know why we're getting another version of Optimus so soon into the line. Like, I could understand Wave 4, Wave 5, it's been a minute. But, I don't know. Just another Bumblebee and another Optimus in Wave 2 seems weird to me. It is what it is, I guess. But let me know what you guys think. Do you like this one better? Do you like the first version better? Who's your favorite out of the two? Do you also agree it's kind of weird to be getting another version already in Wave 2? Love to hear your thoughts. Let me know in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as always, thanks so much for watching.